While the ringers are setting up the bells for our next number, and there's a lot to organize here, I want to introduce our special guest today, Kermit the Frog. Kermit, is there anything you want to say about these songs?
I love Miss Piggy.
What, a frog in your throat? No, the throat in this frog. Well, rest your voice. Let me just say a few things about our first song, which was True Colors. It all started in the days when pirates sailed the high seas, and they were required to fly the flag indicating their nation or their merchant marine company, because if anybody saw a ship out there that didn't fly its colors, it was probably a pirate. Anyways, so as the song says, when you show your true colors, it's beautiful, like a rainbow. So now we're going to do Rainbow Connection, which Kermit usually sings, but he can't do it now. So we'll be playing it on the bells, and Kermit can just sit there and listen. We had a little discussion about whether or not we should sing the song ourselves, but we also want to hear the bells. The words should be in your bulletin, so if you have them, you may sing along quietly, but be sure you can still hear the bells. Meanwhile, Rhea will play Kermit's banjo part on her 88-string banjo.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the Mount Vernon Unitarian Church, welcoming community for all seekers of all types. My name is Reverend Ian White-Marr. I'd like to extend a special welcome to anyone who's joining us for the first time or the first few times. I'll be out in the Commons right after the service. Please come say hi. I'd love to meet you, learn a little bit more about you. And thank you to everyone who's joining us online. It's so great. If people want to wave, thank you. We love that you're joining us, and we really appreciate you being part of our extended community. Yes, sir. Am I? Perhaps 100%. Wow. When Mark and I were, how long ago did we start talking about this service? Couple months ago. So Mark came up and he's like, this is Music Sunday, can we also make it Pride Sunday? And I was like, absolutely. And so we have a really exciting Music Sunday for you, and not everything is Pride themed, or is everything Pride themed? Pretty much. So the choir has been working really hard, and this is my small contribution to Pride Sunday. It's really one of the things I think Unitarian Universalist congregations do best. So thank you for inspiring us and bringing that idea forward. I love it, Mark.
I'd like to thank the Clark family for our new project.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Yep. So good. So I'm going to do 2 quick announcements, and then we're going to hop right into the music because they have been working super hard, and they've got a lot for us today. So one, I just wanted to thank everyone who came and marched yesterday. It was hot, and they made us wait a long time, but it was really fun once we got started, and thank you so much to everyone who came to the parking lot to send us off, and to everyone who was just supportive of that whole effort. We've already got some plans for next year, so please come and you can just send those in. The other announcement is we're doing our final new member joining ceremony next weekend. So if you have been interested in or thinking about joining, please come to the membership table that's out there. You can talk to Jim Burke or any of the people who are at the membership table to find out how to do that. So we've got so much music. If you want to know more about the announcements, they're in the order of service, or not in the order of service, in the newsletter. If you don't get the newsletter, you can also find that at the membership table. And with that, we're going to go right into the offertory. How about that? So our Share the Plate today is for Gum Springs Civic Association, along with the Historic Society and Museum. Gum Springs, as many of you know, is the oldest freestanding African-American community in Fairfax County, traces its roots back 200 years, and the Fairfax County staff are working closely with Gum Springs to launch a heritage resource study. So you can start the baskets if you like while we go into our introit. Thank you so much. Your generosity is incredibly appreciative, and let's have a great Music Sunday and Pride Sunday.
Unity and justice, praise Today's opening words are they're titled Living with Pride by Lori Gorgas Halaban. We light our chalice flame for those who lived their lives in closets of shame, for those who furtively visited the bars where nobody knew your name, for the Stonewall riot and the fierce trans women who fought, for the plague which still takes far too many, too young, too soon. So many gone, so many never lived to see, out gay kids singing on TV, out gay people serving in the military, marriage equality, families formed by intention. We light our chalice flame for all of these, and for all of our siblings of the rainbow, surviving, living life out in the open with pride. Now, if everyone will please join in our opening hymn, number 36, and rise if you are in body and spirit. Please remain standing as we recite the MVUC covenant together. If you are new, you will find the words in order of service or in the back flap of your hymnal. Love is the teaching of this church. The quest of truth is its daily task, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve life and community, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. This is our covenant with each and with all.
Please join me in a moment of meditation and prayer. Let's ground ourselves this beautiful Music Sunday. Maybe we connect with our breath. Maybe we find ourselves sitting in our seats a little taller, our feet on the floor, just breathing. Everything in the room is just as it should be. Nothing's out of place. We breathe. And as we follow our breath, perhaps we can connect with a prayer of being our true selves, a prayer of wanting to live fully in the world, letting go of any shame or resentments or ideas that would cover up who we are. And let's extend that prayer out for other people in the world. People who are now, right at this moment, living, wondering if they are seen, wondering how they could be seen safely, fully, lovingly. As we enter into our silence, perhaps there is a nurturing embrace that we find for ourselves and for the world that longs to just live peacefully in our fullest sense of expression.
Eric Porchot found several pieces that we're singing today, but this is one. Let the Woman in You Come Through. I wanted to introduce this. It's the most potentially uncomfortable piece we're doing, and sometimes the uncomfortable means learning or progress, right? So let the woman in you come through. It's sort of sung from a man who's so afraid to come out or let the female side of him come out that he's so afraid. So this is encouraging for that type of person. You're holding him 'cause you're a man who never cries. I'm not as tough as you, my friend, but since you asked for my advice, let the woman in you come through. She's trying to let you know she's there. She colors everything you do, and the man in you gets scared. You like to dance. I've seen you dance when you thought no one was there. I've heard sorrow in your voice while you laugh like you don't care. It's hard to hide your gentle side. It's a lonely way to be. Take it from a friend who knows, an old friend like me. Let the woman in you come through. She's trying to let you know she's there. She colors everything you do, and the man in you gets scared. You'll fight to prove that you're a man. You'll fight to prove you're right. You work hard and you play hard, and you stay up late at night. Working's hard, a way to hide from the dumb things people say. But holding tenderness inside is throwing it away. Let the woman in you come through. She lets you know she's there. She colors everything you do, and the man in you gets scared. So you tell me that I'm crazy, and I know you don't like kids, especially little sissies. Yeah, I know you never did, but I've seen you with the tough ones. The other ones all condemn, and you know that they're the frightened ones. And you know 'cause you're like them. Let the woman in you come through. She's trying to let you know she's there. She colors everything you do, and the man in you gets scared. Let the woman in you come through. Be a different kind of brave. She'll show you love's the difference between a free man and a slave.
So yesterday, several of us marched in the DC Pride Parade along with at least 3 other UU congregations. It took a little while for us to get started. I think we waited for like 3 hours in the sun, so we got to know each other pretty well. But once it kicked off, there was so much joy and excitement. It was infectious for me anyway. And I love going to Pride. I've been marching with the congregations I've served for almost 20 years now. And I love participating, not just because it's fun, but because I think it's holy work. I believe in sacred witness. And it's critical, in my opinion, that churches march for pride and liberation. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know when I say that many people across this country were raised in religious communities and loved those religious communities only to find out that those communities did not love them back, or not enough anyway. They were told and are still told that God does not love them. Right? Sometimes the rebuke is so strong they are called abominations. And I want to be really clear on this point. That is a lie told by bigots who would force God into a harness for their own purpose. And they have used what is sacred and holy, the majesty and the mystery of creation, not only to hurt LGBTQ communities, but also to hammer other human beings into contortions of bigotry and prejudice. These institutions, these priests, these ministers, in my opinion, have sinned against humanity and God, and I consider it apostasy. Now, they probably consider us apostates, but I do. I consider that. And I was raised Unitarian Universalist, and while, sometimes the holy was a little bit underplayed in our Sunday school, we were taught that intolerance and prejudice was unacceptable. A lot of people comment when I say that I was raised UU, they were like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. To which I respond, true, yes, I was. My church gave me the opportunity to love this world in a way that other children that were raised that way were not. And I'll give you one example. I distinctly remember in Sunday school how my youth leader invited a man who was living with AIDS to come and speak with us. And this was in the mid-'80s. And I don't know if you remember how confusing that time was, but as a teen, it was really important for that people living with HIV and AIDS were humanized, and it wasn't just left up to the media. And that we're all hugging at the end of the day, and I remember that, and I remember just being grateful that this was my church. That was what my church was about in the 80s. And our advocacy for civil rights and the LGBTQ community, however, is still only about 4 decades old. Now, some of you are like, that's a long time. But we did not bring the holy out to the world, right? The holy was brought to us by a courageous group of people who had grown tired of being harassed and persecuted by the police and the larger culture. And they are still bringing the holy to us that way. And so I love marching in Pride, and I love that Mark and I when we were thinking about doing this service, I love putting together a Pride service, not just to dance and shout and sing, but also to remember that the first Pride was a liberation riot. It was a riot, right? Not in a funny way, a literal riot. Today we commemorate the holy resistance, the sacred struggle for dignity and humanity captured in a moment when a special unit of the New York City Police Force called the Public Morals Squad decided to enforce a law that allowed for any man dressed as a woman to be arrested. Yeah, that existed in my lifetime. On June 28, 1969, the police raided the Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village, one of the few bars open to gay people, but that particular night, the congregation of the Stonewall Inn, led by the patron saint of our movement, Marsha P. Johnson, decided to fight back, and in the ensuing days of clashes between Stonewall regulars and neighborhood supporters and the police, that's become known as the Stonewall riots. But the very next year, gay pride parades were held for the first time in Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, of course. Pride is now a worldwide phenomenon, and the actions of a few drag queens and trans people and their supporters have permanently changed the culture. Not just the United States, but changed the culture of nations around the world. It is one of the exports of American culture that I am really incredibly proud of. Not all of our exports are so good, but that one's really good. You know, I lived in New York for about 12 years, and whenever visitors would come to town, I would often bring them to Stonewall for a drink. And if you've never been, it's honestly not much of a bar. Right? It's small, it's dark, there's a pool table and a wee little dance floor. There's not much to see. And I'm not really in the habit of calling bars with stale air and 80s pop music sacred space, but Stonewall is sacred, right? In the theological world, we call it a hierophany. All of our lives, every single person in this room, all of our lives have been made better because of what happened there. All of our lives, every single one of us, have had the weight of prejudice lifted a little bit because of the actions of people who 5 decades ago collectively said, "No, I insist that you see me as a human being." We are all equals in this holy creation. You know, all of our lives are made better because they stood up, which is why I would bring friends down to Stonewall to honor the ancestors and the elders who are still with us, to give thanks for the sacrifices they made, the fears that they faced, and the world that they gave to us. We inherited from them. The Unitarian Universalist Association first affirmed ministers who performed same-sex services of union in 1984. The United Church of Christ followed suit a year later, and personally, I never signed a wedding certificate until 2011 when they allowed same-sex marriage in New York, which was always a funny conversation for church people. They were like, "Oh, I'd like to get married." I was like, "Great. First you have to go to the city hall, and then I'll do the ceremony." Because I didn't want to be the arbiter of prejudice, the state's prejudice, right? And so the first marriage I actually did was for 2 men, which was lovely in 2011. More recently, we've watched some of the larger denominations struggle to come to terms with the idea of sacred equality. Just last year, we watched the worldwide communion of the Methodists split into 2 denominations over the issue of liberation. You know, the slow pace of religious communities to stand for justice and equality has caused some people to disavow religion as a useless aspect of humanity that serves only to keep people restrained and under the control of social elites. And there's evidence that that is true. Still, I believe that the religious life offers an opportunity for transformation, to find the space to listen for how we might serve the world rather than live in such a world that asks that the world serve us. But the religion that is locked away in the monasteries or remains cloistered in congregations offering prayers alone is not enough. When we march, we don't do it because we are good people, that we are better than those other religious people. We don't march because we are trying to grow our church or entice people with our witty banners and signs. We don't march to get gold stars. We don't march because God loves us more. We march because people sacrificed to make our lives better. And we offer our bodies and our time in thanks and gratitude for the gift they have given us. And we do this by being joyful. By being joyful. We march to celebrate the gift of being gay. We offer ourselves so we might witness for an even more accepting future for the coming generations. We engage in the holy work of pride because we are needed. Houses of worship are needed to tell the lonely and the worried that you are not alone, that you are part of the great mystery and majesty of creation, that you have purpose to participate in the sacred work of healing and reconciliation. It's critical, in my opinion, that churches march for pride and liberation. Our presence grants a sense of religious authority, but marching in pride, to stand in that beautiful tradition of freedom and liberation, does more for us, honestly. It helps us become better people. It's a form of walking meditation, of walking prayer. It's a form of witness, and it's transformative. And so I want to thank each of you who came and marched with us yesterday, to each of you who joined us in the parking lot to bless us and send us off, to everyone who has ever marched, and to all who have made the struggle for pride and liberation a meaningful part of this culture that we call ours. We are charged with the sacred work of fulfilling a purpose that is higher than our own desires. We do this work for the freedom of our ancestors, for the freedom of ourselves, and for the freedom of the future generations. We do this work because it is holy and because it's also pretty fun. Amen.
Our next piece, I'd just like to add to something Reverend Ian said. It's kind of a personal testimony. I was living in New York in the 80s and singing in the gay men's chorus there, and I was a flight attendant for TWA. We went to memorial services every weekend, not once a month, every weekend. And we kept lists of our friends who had passed so we didn't forget because there were so many. It was a tough time. So, as he had mentioned, people didn't want to touch you. They didn't want to be around you. You know, Elizabeth Taylor was the turning of the tide. When Rock Hudson got sick, she was like, I'm going to hug him. I'm going to kiss him. He's just fine. He's just ill. Right? So it was a tough time. And this song, Names, it talks about names on the AIDS quilt, and many of you may have gone to the National Mall to see it or in other cities. 56,000 panels now. No. 580. I had to double check. That might be 580,000. 580,000. That's
Must be someone that you know.
all going to get tired of me talking today. Swimming to the other side, the words are in your orders of service. This is a hymn for everybody, but we'll stay seated. It's just a little bit easier. This is a nice light tune. You can have your kids read along for the words. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to teach call and response, just a phrase at a time, then we'll go back and sing the whole thing. There's one slight misprint. We're going to do the first verse, second, third, and fourth verse, then we're going to go back and do the first verse of the chorus again. Only one chorus. Okay. We are living 'neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are living 'neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. Here's the next part. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Let's give that a try, right? We are living 'neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that will live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Here you go. I'm alone. I'm alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced on the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient to receive a sign. I move forward with minds open. Imperfection, it will be my crime. In unity will live or listen. We're all swimming to the other side. Verse 3. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, finding intuition, my head and heart, I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before me, gathering together to be my guide. Loving spirit that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share, have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed they were there. We can balance on the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we've arrived. Loving spirits will swim together. We're all swimming to the other side. Chorus. We are living 'neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are living in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live inside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. come day, may there be a day that we don't need you.
Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, sing, oh my soul.
Please rise in body and spirit as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Source of life, God, my darling. Inspire us to walk out of this room joyful, reaching forward to the days of celebration where we put in the time, the holy work. We tell the whole world about the worth and the dignity of every being. Awaken us to that deep, deep space beyond right and wrong, beyond us and them, to the deep interwovenness of life where we rest in presence. And fill us with grace. Inspire us to do the holy work that this church is called to do. Amen. Go in peace. Quick thing before we go, because you're going to sing us, you're going to do one more piece, right? So I just want, no, it's so good though, right? Like, can everybody just amazing to the choir? Okay? Amazing. Mark, to the AV people, to the ushers, to our musicians, thank you so much today. And, to Kyle, my worship associate. All right, take us away.
Keep a song in your heart. You never know when you might need one. To sing inside to yourself or sing out to someone else. Keep a song in your heart. Keep a song in your heart.
you.